We should be good. Okay.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
recording.
Oh, I'm so happy to see all of you guys. I'm Carrie. We decided that I'm going to be like the Doug Moss of the call. And if you all do not get that reference, then you haven't been watching the Beachbody Champions page. And that's going to be your first tip of the night, because he's doing some killer interviews with the top 10 coaches on there. So I'm going to channel my inner Doug Moss, and I'm going to talk to these ladies like quick Q&A, popcorn style. We already chose. There were a lot of questions that came in ahead of time, which is great. So we already kind of assign them to people, whoever we think is handling that area like really well. And we're going to try not to take too much time because we know it's late. But if you have questions that come up as we talk, which normally happens, then you can feel free to unmute and ask your question, or you can throw it in the chat box. Just know that if you throw it in the chat, we might not catch it till like a little bit later or whatever. But I know that we have a lot of new faces, so I wanted to introduce all the ladies that are going to be answering these questions for you because I love them all so much. I'm Carrie, and that's all you need to know about that. Megan, Megan Ziegler is one of the first ladies that's going to be on our little Star Diamond panel. She is a 3-star Diamond. She's the founder of Team Be Fit Be Free, which is the umbrella we all fall under. So Megan is either your grandmother coach or your great-grandmama coach or your great-great-grandma. Like, she's somewhere up that line for you, or she's your personally sponsored coach. She is a Success Club 5 All-Star legend, which means she's hit Success Club 5 24 months in a row consecutively, which is incredibly difficult to do. And kudos to her for that. And she is our resident boss on earning an income and like all things organization and systems with the business. Thank God she's my coach, because I'm not any of that. And then we also have Kyla, who is like down here on my screen. She is 2-star Diamond coach. She's been on 4 Success Club trips, I believe, invited to 5. She's our resident expert on creating a community, especially within your challenge group, and getting those customers to just love what you do and keep coming back for more. She owns that space. Jackie, who's right underneath me on my screen, is a 1-star Diamond coach. She's been on 1 Success Club trip and invited to a second. I forget. She's been on the Success Club trip. She went to NLC this year and was treated like a queen by Beachbody, got to sit on the 10 rounds bus and do all the fun things. And she is really excellent in her honesty and transparency on social media. Especially, I admire that about her. And she's also, along with Kyla, just really a boss at creating community in her groups. And then, of course, Jennifer Sturgis is our resident 2020 Premier Coach, which is incredible. She is 2-star Diamond in her first CBC, a Diamond in her second CBC. So obviously, you already know that she's going to bring you all the growth tips. She is a Success Club 10 All-Star legend. So she's hit Success Club 10 24 months consecutively, which is, again, really hard. So if you haven't picked up by any of that, she is our queen of Success Club and the new coach startup process, because she really does a great job of getting her new coaches started off well. And like, just beyond any of that, these 4 are just beautiful people that I love. And that's the most important thing. So now you know a little bit about who's going to be bringing you the info. We'll just get started like right off the bat. The first question that I have is one that we're throwing out to Megan, and it is all about, actually, no, let me turn the page. I lied. Don't let me get confused. We're going to Kyla first. Megan, you're off the hot seat. We're going to Kyla first. Okay, Kyla, what is your process for building your cold market on social media and kind of following up with them?
Awesome. So I'm going to start by saying it is super windy here. And so if I freeze or if I get booted off, go on to somebody else and I will come back. My internet is known for being unstable as it is, and I can hear my house blowing down. Okay, so I've gone about this a number of different ways in my 4 years of coaching. And I have to say, at this point in time, I think probably the best space for anybody to be growing their cold market beyond your, family and your friends and your friends and cousins and things like that is probably going to be over on Instagram. So take that in note. If you are not actively working your business over on Instagram and just kind of haphazardly doing it, you really probably need to shift your focus over there. Facebook is really just like your cousin's baby mama drama these days. And you very quickly run out of people that you like genuinely connect with. And I find myself more than anything these days unfriending and unfollowing people on Facebook, and getting away from those things. So it's not a bad place to start. And my age group in particular, I'm 35 years old, like that's where a lot of us live, and that's kind of where we grew up on social media. So a lot of my business like comes from there. But as far as growth, I would really urge you to kind of shift that focus over to Instagram. So it's important to grow your following and connect with new people and kind of grow that cold market, because eventually we do run out of our family members and our friends and referrals and friends of friends and things like that. That happens pretty quickly if you're doing your vitals and you're daily connecting with new people. But what I'm going to say about that is that it doesn't do you any good to just blast and follow 500 people and get a bunch of people to follow you back if it's just for the purpose of having like a bigger number on your Instagram account, and you're never going to interact with those people, engage with them, or do anything with that. Then that's not serving you, and that's really not going to help you whatsoever. So what I would say is, first, take a glance through and go ahead and kind of give yourself a social media evaluation over on your Instagram page, and kind of scroll through the people that you are following and make note of, who's already at your table and watching your stories and interacting with you, or sitting silently, on your friends list, and you're following each other, but you haven't had any kind of contact or, any kind of engagement or started any kind of conversation, and start there, because adding a bunch of new people, if you're not even talking to your existing people, isn't really going to start you. I certainly am not like the queen of a large following. I have like 1,400 people on Instagram. So I'm just kind of speaking from a perspective of, it's not going to help you to have a bajillion people if you're not going to do anything about it. If you're not willing to engage and have the conversations with the 400 people that do follow you, having 4,000 isn't really going to do all that much for you. It's new people and it's exposure. But Megan has like almost 10,000 people on Instagram. And I'm going to tell you that, and she can shake her head yes or no, but if she posts a call to action, she doesn't have 900 people show up and say, yes, I want to join your challenge group, just because she has a bigger following or more people. So those bigger numbers don't automatically do anything to your business if you're not actively using it to your advantage. So get comfortable with talking to the people that are there already. And then I would say definitely over on the Instagram world, probably hashtags and people that are following other pages that you like to follow that have common interests with you is going to be your best bet for connecting with people. It definitely takes a little bit of time and patience, but if you do it the right way, then you're actually going to have people that you genuinely want to talk to and you want to have conversations with, and you have things in common with. I have a number of different school counselors that I follow, and I kind of started as like, I'm going to follow these school counselors, and then they're going to see what I'm doing. And instead, I'm like learning from them about, now we're all like, how are we school counseling in a pandemic when kids aren't in school anymore? So if you genuinely connect and follow, people that you think you can add value to them, and you can also get value from them, then it's only going to enrich your social media, and it's going to make it a happy place to be, as opposed to, a chore or a place that drags you down. So I would really just, keep that in mind. Always be looking to connect with and follow along for people that you would literally want to hang out with in real life. And if you find yourself looking at someone's page and you're like, I need to send like 3 more messages, but there's like nothing about this person that you can even think like you would want to genuinely say or compliment or connect with them, like, then don't follow them. Don't force it, because yucky, forced, cold conversations in anybody's inbox is not, it's a turnoff. It's not what anybody wants. None of us like to receive them from the various other companies that, want to sell us coffee that's going to change our life, or, whatever it may be. So don't send them either. So if you find yourself struggling with something to like say to someone or connect with them over, then you don't need to, then move on. There's a billion people that you can connect with. And it does take a little bit of time. But I think that's probably going to be your best bet, is just connecting with the actual things that you enjoy doing that are relevant to your life. And like, you know, all of you moms, like, they can tell you, like, just being a mom doesn't mean you have something in common with that person. You need to be more specific. Mom groups can be kind of brutal sometimes. So you got to connect with the right kind of moms that aren't going to make you feel bad about yourself and judge you, right? And that's why I say that this kind of takes time to really try to figure out who people are, you know, and what their other interests are. You know, just being a counselor, just being a teacher doesn't mean that someone else is like my cup of tea. I do things differently than other people. So just really be willing to like invest in the process and the time and getting to know people. And if you are on this call and you're here because you want to grow your business, then that will play out well for you in the long run. And you always have to think long game over immediate gratification.
Awesome.
Can I just add two like little quick tips? Okay. So I love all of that because it's like how you're going to, like, you need to find your person. And so how do you actually find those people though? I wanted to give you guys two quick ways that is really working well for me. Kyla did mention using hashtags in the body of your posts. So using hashtags in the body of your posts is so important because that's how people are going to find you. That being said, how are you going to go find people? I've been having way more success finding legitimate people that I want to connect with by looking in locations, because people are more likely to tag a place they're at in their post than the people that we're trying to connect with. I'm saying they don't know to post all these hashtags. So the people we want to connect with, we need to find them through locations because they're tagging, for instance, you know, the beach or a state park or a restaurant or whatever. That's where you go to find people. People are going to find you through the hashtags you use, and also when you get pushed out into other people's pages because your in the explore and stuff because your content is good. So just two ways to connect with people.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I add one more to that?
Yes.
Sorry. I know for the newer coaches, I've been telling my newer coaches, because sometimes it's intimidating when you're just starting to like go and find random people. So I also find a lot of success friending like friends of friends, because you have something in common there. So it's not just like this really random person, and they're more likely to follow you back if they're like, oh, she's friends with so-and-so. So just a little tip there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll go down the rabbit hole too. I'll do friends of friends of friends of friends. Like I will go 5 or 6 degrees out looking for people. And I also wanted to just quick point, because Kyla made a joke about having 1,400 followers, but you guys, she's also a 2-star diamond. So please do not get hung up. I will preach this all day. Do not get hung up on your following being the reason why you can't reach a certain rank, because it's not ever the case. Like Kyla was saying, if you're serving your people, diamond is 12 people. Like if you have 300 followers on Instagram, are there 12 of those 300 followers that you would love to work with? I'm sure there are. It's just figuring out, like everyone was saying, talking to the right people, figuring out what she looks like, where she shops, what does she want to hear about, get curious about your own social media and what you like to see that is not Beachbody related, and try to give people that too, because if you like it, they'll like it. Okay. Kyla, we're going back to you with the price objection, the tried and true. Holy crap, this is expensive. What?
Okay.
How do you work people through that?
Gotcha. So I'll try to speak briefly on this, and then that way you can hear from other people, and I'll be done for the evening. So I thought about this one, and I was like, I don't really get this so much anymore, which kind of made me think, like, why is that? Like, why don't I have this problem anymore? Because it was a huge issue for me when I first started coaching. And it's one of the biggest things that we hear from people, new coaches, is like the price objection. And the only thing that I can figure that it boils down to for me when the switch flipped, when I flipped the switch, whatever it was, whatever changed for me was when I like fully fully believed in what was going on and what I was doing, and was fully invested in myself and believed in myself as a person and what Beachbody, I mean, yes, Beachbody is a company. I mean, I was a believer for a while, but like really when I had the self-confidence in myself to know that what I offered as a coach and as a group paired along with these products, this was an absolute steal. And I literally don't, I mean, maybe I'll have someone like ghost me or something, but I just don't ever even get like the question anymore of, well, can I like just get the workouts? And that used to be the issue all of the time. So I think that so much of this comes from your own education on the products and the programs and what we offer and the absolute value there, but also the belief in yourself and what you offer as a coach and how this is specific and different from, you know, any other opportunity and any other, you know, way that someone could go about, you know, getting fit or whatever, especially with what we have going on right now. So first and foremost, I mean, I think Carrie has a really good tip on like helping people understand it's a good lead into the business opportunity. If they're already giving you like a pushback on price, like great, give them an opportunity and show them how they can get all their money back in a matter of, you know, weeks if da, 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 da. So it can be a good lead in for a business opportunity. And maybe that's something that someone is looking for. If someone had said that to me, maybe I would have been a coach sooner than I was. Just FYI, I was a discount coach for 4.5 months before I actually started coaching. So there is that piece of it, but also just having, again, you have to speak with complete confidence, and it just doesn't even like cross my mind anymore that this is expensive. And when I stopped believing that this was expensive and that people had a reason to give me a price objection, they stopped giving me a price objection. And I guess it just came through in my confidence and my wording and the way that I was like just saying things to people. But I think when you really do a good job of getting down to it and explaining to people the value and everything that they get, I do find that sometimes email is a little bit better for kind of laying that all out there. Sometimes in my wording, I will even just kind of spell out like all the different, without going into too much detail, but all the programs, and it's a 12 months and also this nutritional and da-da-da, and then I will throw on their choice of like Shakeology or Performance Line almost as like a bonus. Oh, and you also, so I've sold them on the idea that their 160 or 40 or 80 or whatever we're talking about challenge pack is for a year's worth of customized, you know, meal plans and nutritional guides and tips and blog posts and videos, recipes and things for the kids and all of these workouts and calendars and trainers. And I've hyped this up so much that then it seems as if like, oh, and you also get this month, like you get to choose between the, you know, Shakeology or the Performance Line, you know, depending on the conversation that we're having. Because my people I'm talking to and connecting with think they're too good for supplements because that's me. So by swinging it, like in using my words and kind of saying it in that, it sounds like it's a bonus, like add-on that, like, oh, you also get this. So which would you prefer? What would be your option? And that way, like it doesn't even, I'm not presenting that like Shakeology is $130 because that's easy for people to say no to without like, you know. So I think that sometimes helps me depending on the conversations I'm having. But really the biggest thing is really just believing in yourself, you know, and educating yourself and just speaking with confidence, you know, that you know that this is an amazing deal and you know that this will change your life and you know that $160 or $210 or whatever you're talking about is a drop in the bucket in the long run in comparison to what they will gain from this in the way that you have gained from this. And you just have to speak from that place.
Absolutely. I love that. And Kyla referenced the business opportunity. I 100% turn that into that question now. I put the pressure on myself. If I get a price objection, I start thinking that either I haven't shown them the value enough, because if I've shown them the true value through my stories or through my posts or whatever I'm doing, then there is no price objection. Like Kyla was saying, it's an incredible value. Or I put the pressure back on me and I say, how about this? I completely get it. Times are hard right now. I was furloughed from my job. Like, I understand. Let me help you make your money back. Give me 30 days. If you don't love it, you can return it and we can work you towards making some of that money back with this coach account. That's what I say, because I 100% believe that that's an option for them. Okay, so not to take too long, sorry. Let's go to Jen. We had a question about our onboarding process, especially for people that are new to Beachbody. We don't want to overwhelm, we don't want to underwhelm, we want to give them the things, but not too much. And you're really great at creating success starters. So we thought Jen would be a good person for this question.
All right, so I love doing this. And obviously it has changed over the years, but recently, the past few months, I have switched over to, I do a new coach call, and sometimes it's one-on-one. Actually, recently I've had like 2 or 3 coaches on at the same time, and I take my girls through a PowerPoint, and it's super, super simple, but I just talk about the basic things that you need to know when you're starting as a coach. You know, I go through the vital behaviors. I set expectations for them right from the beginning. Like if you're getting into coaching, it's probably because you want to make some sort of extra money. And in my opinion, if that is one of your goals, then Emerald needs to happen right away. So I set that expectation for my coaches. You know, when you start, you're going to hit Emerald in the first 24 hours week. It can happen in 24 hours. I've had coaches do it in less than that. So I know it can happen, and I just set that expectation for them. Like it truly, I heard this, one of the top coaches said it before, and it always stuck with me. Emerald is a choice and Diamond is a decision. Emerald is 110% a choice, because Diamond, you'll get free paid leads. And I was like, it's free, like I'm doing it. So I signed up my husband and I signed up my mom. Like it was a choice that I made because I wanted those free leads. I didn't even know what free leads were, but I was like, oh, I get a prize. Like I'm all about prizes. So like really, it was that simple. She told me what to do and I did it. And so I just try to simplify it for my coaches and set that expectation right off the bat that this is what you're going to do if you have those goals. And then, so we go through that, talk about Success Club, which is a non-negotiable for me. I mean, Success Club 10 is a non-negotiable for me every single month. And so I try to instill that in my coaches too. If you're not hitting Success Club every month, you don't have a business, because you're not getting new people in the door. You know, you're not then converting them to coaches. Like I think a lot of times in this business, we overcomplicate things. Guilty in the beginning of it. But it really, what this business comes down to is, it's a choice. It's you get out of it what you want. You get out of it what you put into it. And if you're not where you are in your business right now, it's all because of you and nobody else. I know that's harsh to hear, but it's because you might be putting self-limiting beliefs on yourself or telling yourself these excuses as to why you can't do this. But guys, we've seen it happen with tons of coaches. You know, they're no different than us. I'm going off on a tangent. Let me go back. But I just try to set those clear expectations with my coaches. You know, Emerald, you're going to hit Success Club every month. If you hit it for your first 3 months, you're going to earn that free ticket to Summit. That's awesome. And then if you hit it every year, that's how you win the trips. So we just go through that. I talk a little bit about, like, you know, your posts on social media and how you really want to do storytelling through your posts, not just like, hey, here's my sweaty selfie or here's my shake. Like, talk about the value. Like Kyla was saying, like, we need to show people the value of what we have to offer. So going through that, and then what else do we talk about? personal development, the vital behaviors. So I do that with my coaches. And then I also have like a new coach orientation that I have them go through. I got it from another coach. I'm all about duplication. There is no need to recreate the wheel in this business. We have so many trainings from top coaches. So I don't even know who I got it from, but I took it from somebody and I use it for my team. Obviously, I had to recreate it in my own Google Doc, but it's just goes through like how to navigate the back office, what Success Club is. So kind of it might be overlapping a little bit from like my new coach call with this, but it's all good information. How to set up your direct deposit, why it's important that you sign up your spouse account or significant other. You definitely want that to be at the top of one of your legs. Yeah, that's kind of how I've gotten my new girls started. I'm just keeping it, simplifying it, because in the beginning I overcomplicated it. So
that's good though, because you said you're setting expectations for them, and no one when they first start even knows what expectations to set. So you're setting the pace, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I meant to say this at the very beginning and I forgot, but we're going to try to hit all the questions and we're not going to try to talk until like 10 o'clock at night. But just know, everyone, that the best coach is the one that can find their own answers. So if we don't get to your question, you can answer it yourself. Like, you have YouTube, you have Beachbody Champions, like guaranteed. If you want to know anything about coach recruiting, look up Holly Hillier. She's a boss. If you want to know anything about social media, branding, content, look up Ashley Molstead. Like, there are tons of amazing coaches with lots of good content for you to find answers. So just a little aside that I forgot to mention. Okay. So this is possibly one of my favorite questions. And one of my favorite people answering this question. So this one made me giggle. I'm going to paraphrase this. I have been told I have a poor bedside manner, possibly from my husband, because I prefer to be straightforward and not BS people. Should I sugarcoat more when I am talking on social media, or should I just trust that my people can handle me? Jackie.
I volunteered myself to answer this question and then I felt bad about it, but okay. You have to be able to read the room. But in general, I would trust that your people can handle it. I've made the mistake of changing who I am in order to get someone's business. And I will tell you that haunts you for forever. Those are the people who are never going to leave you. They're going to ask you 700 questions, and you are going to wish that you never took that $50 commission. So be yourself. If you can see that someone like really just needs you to be a friend, then do that. We're all human. We can all read when someone needs to hear the nice sugar-coated things. But in general, sometimes they're just making excuses, and we have to step up for them and let them know that that's what they're doing. I'm just a firm believer in that you probably attract people similar to you, just like Kyla attracts people who hate supplements because they think they're too good for them. That was Kyla. I attract sarcastic and heavy drinkers. That's what I attract. So I think that if you act like yourself, you're going to attract your own self. And if you think you could handle it, if someone was being blatantly honest to you, then that's the kind of response that you should give people. We're all human, though. We all have bad days. As much as I'm straightforward and sarcastic, sometimes my friends know that I just need a friend. So if you can tell that they're in a moment where they just really need you to be a friend right now, then be a friend and sugarcoat it and fake that bedside manner like you've never done before. But if they're just coming at you with a whole bunch of BS, then call them on it, because sometimes that's what you have to do as a coach and a friend. I firmly believe that they don't come to us because their excuses are working. So they're going to come to us because they need to kind of hear it. That's just how I feel.
Preach. I love it. I love it. Thanks, Jackie. Okay, let's go from that to Megan. We're going to talk a little bit about, this is more the marketing side of things, which is very important. So how what's the process? How can we go about promoting challenge groups? Should we use graphics on our stories? Do you like to talk in your stories? Do you like to use a post? Like, what is your process for specifically promoting challenge groups, and have you found something to work better than something else?
Okay. All right. First, what I'm going to say is, if you're worried about talking on your stories, you just rip the Band-Aid off and you do it. And you just talk into your stories as if you're talking to yourself or one of us right here. And that's it. Because that's really only who you're talking to. And you're not going to see all the other people watching and seeing what they say like in real time. So you're not going to see their reactions. So just talk, rip the Band-Aid off, and be you. And if it's something like you feel like, if you say something and you're like, oh, that was terrible, and you have to go back and forth and do it all over again like 100 times, then maybe what you're talking about isn't like really what you want to be putting out there, if that makes sense. If you don't feel comfortable speaking it, then maybe that's not exactly what you need to be talking about at the moment. Okay, so when you go to market your challenge groups, and we'll start there, challenge groups. When you go to market your challenge groups, first of all, you want to know what you're inviting to. There's nothing there's nothing harder for you than inviting somebody to join your accountability group and having no structure to it. People need structure. Like, people want you to tell them what to do. Like, people don't want to have to decide one more thing. So the more clear and concise you can be in your stories, in your posts about what you're inviting to. So for example, just quick and cut and dry, a date, like the length of the group, and it's always, we pretty much always do 30 days. And then you talk about, we're going to find a simple fitness plan for you and a simple balanced clean eating plan, like that sort of thing. You're inviting to bam, bam, bam. May 18th, this is what we're doing. Here's how you can join. So you don't want to be obviously a billboard, a Beachbody robot, okay? So you don't want to be posting like stock photos of Autumn and Joel and all of our super trainers. And while I say that, I think it's okay to post stock photos of, say, like yesterday when Mixed Berry Energize launched. Several of us used an actual stock photo of like the tub that said Mixed Berry. I think that's a-okay on like launch days and big time events. What you shouldn't be doing though is every day putting up the Beachbody billboard. Like, you're not trying to sell Beachbody, because anybody can go to Amazon, eBay, they can go to Ashley Molsted's page and just sign up and click yes. You want people to buy you and work with you, because that's really what it comes down to. They can get Beachbody anywhere else. So here's what I find works. Well, first of all, here's your first thing I want you to do. Whether it be tomorrow or the next day, I want you to do this in the next 24 hours. I want you to go on your stories and I want you to poll your audience. I've seen a couple of the leaders on here do it, and they do it like every 3 or 4 weeks. And I think it's a genius thing, because stories are only up for 24 hours. So, there's so much you can say there. Poll your audience. What do they want as more of to see? Do they want to see more fitness? Do they want to see more nutrition? Do they want more mindset? Do they want more mom life? Whatever. So this is my thing. When you're polling people, also throw in a poll about, hey, do you prefer to watch stories or listen to them with audio? That sort of thing. And see what people say. Because my audience, they, for some reason, and I hate it, they love to hear me talk. And like 9 times out of 10, when I invite somebody, they're like, I love when you talk on your stories. And I'm like, really? Because I hate it and it makes me cringe. But if that's what your people want, like, you should do that, because then they're going to get to know you more. If you are only posting a picture of your breakfast, a picture of your workout, a picture of you and your kid, they can't really get to know you, okay? So post all the pictures, that's fine, but also work into each day like 3 or 4 slides of you talking. So let me reel it back into, obviously, marketing the challenge groups. So when you're talking about challenge groups, I think it's okay to every other day talk about your challenge group that you're inviting to, okay? Because if somebody misses it one day and then it goes off tomorrow, at least they see it the next day, okay? So I think every other day is a good rule of thumb. I think if you are an everyday join me, it's a lot for people. So every other day is kind of like my theory behind when I post for challenge groups. In my stories, I will share my video of my workout. I will share like a meal, and I will formulate the invite around that. So I'll talk in my video about my workout and, you know, whatever I want to say that day. And then at the end, I'll come on the video and I'll say, hey, like, I don't know, just not a, would you want to join me in this thing? But I'm so excited for my next round of 10 rounds. I've seen amazing results. The girls in our group have been kicking ass the last 6 weeks, and they've really done things that like a lot of other people unfortunately wish they could be doing. And you should be a part of this because it's really uplifted me at this time. Just talk real. But I do think if you talk and describe things, I think people want to hear you talk and describe things more than they want to just see like a stock photo of Beachbody on Demand, a stock photo of Energize, and a stock photo of Shakeology, if that makes sense. Did I hit that? I don't know.
Yeah, it does make sense. I think
okay.
I like the every other day, like hard call to action. I also think you can weave your challenge group in throughout the week without it being a hard call to action. So the other days you can still show, like you can do a quick screen grab video of you logging into your group and logging your workout that day, or you can show a screenshot of someone's non-scale victory and celebrate them. Like there are pieces of your challenge group that maybe challenge yourself to find something every day that you can show people that is happening in your challenge group, because we're all about the social proof is the only thing that I would add on to that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So showing the community has really, I feel like that's really elevated people wanting to join me last month, because I showed a ton of community the last 3 months, and last month people were like, I need that. So showing what's happening within your groups, transformations, stories of people like changing, all of that. So a mix, talk, post graphics. If you're gonna post graphics, I don't know what I mean graphics. If you're gonna post pictures in your stories, my suggestion is also put like a little text in there about what you're saying. Or sorry, I swear I'm not this bad. If you're going to do a video, also post a little caption of what you said in that video. Because I'll tell you, sometimes I know I talk to a lot of moms, and I lay in bed at night with Bryce while he's falling asleep and I watch stories. And I can't turn the volume on because he's not going to go to sleep, but I want to know what people have been up to. So if they tell me in their text, I follow, and I don't just swipe through if it's just all video and no text there. So
that's a great tip.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to Jen. So we had a question. A lot of people are trying to grow to diamond right now. Obviously, it's, you know, one of the more serious ranks of a business builder. So the resounding question was like, what is an appropriate time frame to expect to go diamond? And obviously it's different for everybody. So maybe let's just speak from like new emerald. What would you say is an appropriate time frame? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, there we go. Like you said, it's definitely dependent on the person and how hard they're willing to work. But I would say I would never encourage any new emerald to make their goal of diamond longer than 3 months, because I think that if you make it longer than that, you're not going to have that sense of urgency. You're going to be like, okay, well, my goal, like somebody the other day said that they wanted it by September, and I challenged her and I was like, why not July? because if you say September, you're not going to really start working towards that until July or August. Like, we all do it. I don't know about you guys, but in school, when I had a paper due a month, I wasn't doing that paper like the day that I got it. I was waiting until a few days before it was due to do that. So same with the business. Like, that's why I always try to hit Success Club at the beginning of the month, so I have it out of the way. Because if you're like, oh, I have 30 days to hit Success Club, most people wait until the end to do it. And then you cram and you're all stressed out. So same with coaching. We've seen coaches go diamond in 10 days. We've seen coaches go diamond in 30 days. I encourage 30. And it took me a long time to get my first, to go diamond just in my first account, because I wasn't really working the business. Like, I was saying I was working the business, but I wasn't at all. And then when I made that decision, when I opened my second CBC went diamond in a month and a half, because I made that decision. That's what I was going to do. So I was talking about coaching more. I was inviting to the opportunity more. I offered everybody the preferred customer discount. I say preferred customer versus discount coach, because I don't know, people just like that better. Thank you, Patrice, because she gave us that little tip like a year and a half ago. So yeah, I think if your goal is diamond, you've got to be talking about coaching. If I go to your page and there's nothing about coaching in your stories or on your feed in those first 9, how are people going to know what you do as a coach? And they're going to be less likely to join you. So when I made that decision that I was going to get my second CBC to diamond, I was talking about coaching all the time, showing what we do as coaches and inviting people. Inviting is key. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And one other thing I just want to say, I think people also get scared of diamond, but it's just emerald again, and emerald again. And that's what I've been trying to get my coaches to focus on, is those small, emerald, like I said, is a choice. So you make that choice, and then you make it again, and then you make it again, and then you make it again, and you help 2 coaches do the same. Don't overcomplicate it, guys. If you want it, make it happen.
Yeah. And like you said before, it's a decision. And what I was told a while ago that I loved is there's want versus need. Everybody wants to go diamond because it's sparkly and shiny and we like all the shiny things. But then there's also, how much do you need it? Is this business a need for you? And that's when it became more real to me, is when it became a bigger need. And you can ask any of the coaches who have diamonds underneath of them. We can kind of recognize it in people now when they talk about diamond to us. We can see if it's a want or a need, and we know in the back of our mind how hard to push them because of how they're speaking about it. And you'll know yourself once that switch flips and you have that diamond mindset. We didn't decide who was going to talk about this next one, so I'm just going to real quick do it because it bounces right off of what Jen said, and it's about recruiting business builders. How do you recruit business builders? Simply, you talk about the business. You have to talk about, if you are never talking about coaching, if you are never inviting to coaching, no one freaking knows you coach, you guys. That's all there is to it. And that's maybe a little harsh. Sorry. That's, me being a Jackie, right? But if I can be real with you guys, you will only find your business builders by speaking about the business. And there are multiple different ways you can talk about the business. You do not have to earn 6 figures to talk about the business. You can talk about the community. You can talk about paying for your nails that week with Beachbody. You can talk about, like me recently, I was furloughed and this is helping me supplement that. You can talk about how wise it is to have a second stream of income in today's day and age. There are so many things you can talk about coaching. You never know what to say about coaching on IG stories. So what I would challenge you to do, if you don't know what to say, take out a piece of paper and fill that paper with as many things that you can think of that has either impacted your life or that you enjoy about coaching and or your team. Fill it. All right. and then choose one thing off of that paper every day to talk about on your Instagram stories, because you're never going to get good at it if you don't practice. And the nice thing about stories is you can delete it. If you start to fluster and mess up your words, it's not like a live video. So practice every single day. Practice before you even have a team, because you will just be that much better once you have one. So that's just short and straightforward with that. Bouncing to Megan. So on that same line of coaches and teams, when you have a coach that is inactive and they've been inactive for a while, they're a discount coach. And when we say discount coach, you guys, we pretty much just mean people that are only coaches for the 25% discount. They're not buying anything and they haven't for a couple months. Do you talk to those people? What do you do there?
Yes. Okay. So for anybody who I know, like straight up doesn't work the business, is a discount coach for the discount, the 25% off, they're always in my groups. So whatever new group I start, I offer them to be in the next group, and it keeps me involved in what they're doing. So you have to, one, be invested in your discount coaches. Like, you just can't discount them and think they love the products, they're going to stay on. You still have to be following up with them, coaching them, keeping them in your accountability groups. But when you see that when you go to check your back office and you see you have inactive coaches, first of all, check, like, how long have they been inactive? Have they not ordered Shakeology in 6 months or anything? I always reach out to every one of my inactive coaches once a month. I just send an email to all of them and I say, I think I have it in the team page. So if you're not in our big team page, your Star Diamond can get it to you. But it basically says, hey girl, just wanted to check in with you. I haven't, and so I tailor it to them. Haven't seen you post too much in the accountability group. Wanted to see how you're doing. Also, you're getting, you still have your coach account and it's charging you $16 a month, but you haven't gotten any product since November. Did you want to get back in the game this month? Did you need to get back in the game? I have a list here of a couple things that you might enjoy, and I have a graphic for that. Or I also give them the out, because I don't like people wasting their money and thinking they have to be tied to this. So I then say, or if you totally aren't interested in anything and you're just fine, you can totally cancel this, no questions asked. Just let me know how you want to proceed. And then I just make it clear, I want to help you with your goals, but I also don't want you to waste your money. So if the 25% off can help you, awesome. But if it can't, I don't want you to waste your money every month. I just make it cut and dry. And I send that once a month. And it doesn't matter if they answer or if they don't, they get it the next month. And then they get it the next month. And I've probably had people sit inactive I've had 3 of them this year sit inactive for over a year. Month after month, I send the email and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, I'll take your extra $16 a month, but they finally canceled. And that's fine, okay? It's okay. But I've also had people who are like, shoot, I really needed to see this message and I really need to get back into something because I've fallen off. And then they order something and then they're back in the challenge group for the next month, invested in themselves, and they show up. So you have to reach out to them and ask, and just keep tabs on them.
Great. Okay. We're going to do one question before we do our final wrap-up question. And this is not one we prepared, so I'm going to be surprising them. But if you guys have something a burning question we didn't talk about, now's your time to throw it in the chat. So I'm throwing this to Kyla and Jackie. How do you keep your challenge groups engaged, or challengers engaged in your challenge groups? Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so I'll start, and then Jackie can follow up with what I've missed. We have basically just taken the time to cultivate. I'm just making sure people's heads are moving. I'm not frozen. Okay. Just an actual family within our challenge group. We quit a long time ago, starting over and doing new groups, and instead just bringing new life to our one ongoing community group that is very large now. because it just was wearing the life out of everyone. Our lifers were having to reintroduce themselves every month or every 2 months or whenever we decided to do something new. Our people do every new program with us. They follow us to off the cliff to do like a cliff diving program that Beachbody's come out with. They're like, great, sign me up. So we've just like created and made like a family and a community, and we all make it a point to like love on each other's people. So it's not my challenge group, it's not Jackie's challenge group, it is everybody's challenge group. And the people in there, they know who their coach is, most of them. Some are a little confused, but they don't know who's coaches, they don't know who's challengers. Like to them, it's just one big like family and community, and we just are like forever and ever ongoing, and just loving on and supporting people, and people that aren't coaches like have created friendships and connections, and they comment on each other's stuff. And it took a while, it took a little bit of time, and it took the right combination of people, and it's just been good ever since.
Yeah, I mean, our group is going on close to 300 strong. We've been building it for 2 years. And like Kyla said, we will run a new program with a new launch. Like we have a 10 rounds group. We have every now and then we'll do something, separate to try to get traction or promote something. But in general, we were literally spinning our wheels that we would post about our new group, and then all of our lifetime committers would freak out thinking that they weren't part of it. And it was this huge mess where like, no, you're fine. Like we really have a group without you. Like it was back and forth all the time. But I mean, we have people share tragedies, losing children, marriages, weight loss surgery, and we really meet people, I think, where they're at. We don't have too many specific rules to be in our community. You just have to be tied to one of us with Beachbody in some way. And then putting them in there, and we always talk about all the products, and that kind of creates interest and buzz around it anyway. But because we don't have this huge requirement to be in there, I think people really trust us, and they trust all the people in there. Like Kyla said, no one knows whose coach is who really. Sometimes we're all answering questions. We do a lot of spirit weeks, and sometimes we have Triller challenges, but in general, it's just become this huge safe place that people can go and share things that they're struggling with that they maybe can't even share with their closest friends, but they feel safe with us. And it's really cool. And it did take time, and we just don't allow any negativity, really. Squash it.
And yeah, Jamie, it is on Facebook. We have a bod group, and we started a bod group, and bod group is great for all your type A, check the box, and it's great from a business standpoint. But I'm sorry, no app is ever going to give us the same community feel that we have cultivated. So we're doing both for our people that want that, and because it makes sense from a business standpoint. But we can't kill what we've spent so long making for people.
I mean, I don't even know how it would work if we tried to shut it down one day. I think people would find us.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. And just remember, while you guys are listening, the beauty is that everyone does everything differently. So while that works really, really, really well for Kyla and Jackie, don't be scared by that number of like 300 people. You can cultivate the same community with like 5 people, as long as they're the right people. And Facebook rocks for them. Facebook sucks for my people. Like it drains the life out of my groups because they're in so many Facebook groups. So I think the better you kind of know who you're working with, and you can feel that out group to group, and you're only going to learn that by running multiple groups, the better you can tailor them to your people. I have like one ongoing group like they talk about, and then I usually run a VIP group once a month that is, you have to be on a supplement of some kind. So like I have kind of the higher level of commitment, and then I have the ongoing. So it's whatever works for you, and you got to figure it out. And it's a lot of trial and error. The whole business is a lot of trial and error. So we're going to wrap it up. One last question. Let me just double check the chat. Okay. So we're just going to round robin to everyone to answer. We were asked kind of like similar questions. So we were asked, what are your non-negotiables? But we were also asked, what is the one thing you wish you could tell your newer coach self? So you could answer one or the other, however you want to go about that. But let's go ahead and start with Megan, and then we can pop to Jen.
Shoot, what was the first part?
Okay, so what are your non-negotiables?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And what would you tell your new coach self?
Okay. So my non-negotiables, they have evolved over the years. Most of you know I have now been a coach for over 5 years. But from the very first day that I signed up to be a coach, my number one non-negotiable was that I was going to hit Success Club 5 every month. Because A, it was important to me to get my products covered, and B, I knew that I wasn't going to grow if I didn't continuously have new people every month. I would only be spinning my wheels every month and kind of restarting my business every month if I wasn't hitting Success Club. And there's nothing worse than feeling like, you know, you got so far for a couple months and then you're back to square one. So you don't want to like lose that momentum really. So always and forever, my non-negotiable is now Success Club 10 or more. My non-negotiables that I do every day are I must be inviting at least 3 to 5 people a day. Now, for somebody who's been in the business 5 years and has a bigger business, that's a very small number, you guys. So that's a number you should be doing. That's my number right now because I'm going through something like hard right now at home, and it's just what I can give. So that's my number. But some days before all of this chaos hit, my invites were 20 a day because I had big goals of Success Club 10 to 20. And it takes anywhere from 10 people that you talk to get one person to say yes. And it also takes you talking to someone 7 to 10 times for them to say yes to you. So non-negotiables every day is I'm inviting 3 to 5 people a day. I am doing personal development every day. That is hands down, I start my day with it. And my husband knows if I don't sit in my chair and read in the morning and pump my mind up. He just said to Bryce this morning, Bryce was like, "Are you working out yet?" And my husband was like, "Oh, she's working out in her mind." He knows if I don't do that, like my day is messed up. So personal development, inviting, and sharing in some fashion, either a post or on my stories. If I'm not showing up, my people are going to go find somebody else. And that's my non-negotiables. The one thing that I wish I would have known when I first started is that you're going to fail a lot, but you're also going to succeed even more. It's going to feel like you're failing, but then you're going to like get that text from somebody, get that transformation from somebody, get a text from your coach that they had their highest paycheck. You're going to get some sort of like God message, literally, that like, whoa, the last 5 months I busted my butt and I thought I was failing, but it was 100% worth it. And it happens every time. Like I consider every time I think like this isn't going anywhere, like God shows up the next day. And I was like, it is. So you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. But if you're not failing, you're not trying. So I wish I would have just known, like, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to need to keep failing.
Preach. Okay. Jen, same question. So non-negotiables for you besides the vital behaviors. And one thing that you would tell your newer coach self.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. The vital behaviors are my non-negotiable. Success Club 10, my non-negotiable. So one thing I wish my newer coach self knew was just to put that fear aside. You know, I think I let fear control my business for the first year and a half. And that's hard. And I get that from a lot of my coaches. Fear is what holds them back, like fear of what people are going to think, really just fear of what people are going to think or people are going to say. They're going to think you're salesy. So that's why I think personal development is so important. Something I never did before Beachbody, and it completely changed my life because I am a completely different person than I was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the thought of speaking on a call would have made me throw up. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would have it be running a business with a team under me. I was so consumed with what people were going to say about me, what people thought about me, and that held me back for so long. And now I couldn't give two shits about what anybody thinks about me in this business, because this is my motto: other people's opinions do not pay your bills. And I live by that. And anytime I want to not send that invite, I think about that. I think about how this business has completely changed my life, not just, physically, but mentally and emotionally, how I'm able to, I haven't worked in 10 weeks. I haven't gotten a paycheck in 10 weeks from my PT job. If I didn't have this business, I don't even know how we would be surviving, So that was I always go
perfect. It's perfect. We're gonna throw the ball to Kyla. Same question. Do I need to repeat? Okay.
No, I got it. Okay. So my current non-negotiables, because I think that things change for you over the course of your business and your season of life. Current non-negotiables for me are checking in daily with my people, loving on my people in my challenge groups. It does me no good to sell somebody something and then let them figure it out on their own and not give them the love and the community and the accountability that I promised that I would. And so that's important to me. And that's when people find other coaches, and that's when they go elsewhere. So I think it's really, really important that we're bringing new people in, but we're giving them exactly what we told them that we would. So I don't go to bed without going through my group and loving on my people and telling them good job, and life is hard right now and you showed up for you and I'm proud of you. And I think that's a big part of our community. So that is a non-negotiable for me, as well as making sure that while this is work and this is business and those two things are hard, this is something I choose to put on my plate as something extra to give to my life, not to take away from it. So my other non-negotiable is just making sure that things are fun, that this work is something that I choose to do, that I enjoy, and that it's fun for me. Because if it's not fun for me, then nobody else is having fun. My challengers aren't having fun. My coaches aren't having fun. If this is a drag and this is hard and it's dragging me down in life with everything else because I'm drowning, that comes across to other people too. So I have to make the conscious choice to keep things light, keep things fun, keep things simple, prioritize, have fun, because I chose to add this to my plate, and love on my people. And that's where I'm at currently. And the thing that I would probably just tell my new coach self is that in the long run, consistency is going to be your best friend. Show up all the time, and it will pay off big time in the long run, because it is hard to start over. And if you fall off the course and you disappear and then you pop back up again all of a sudden, people do it, but it's not easy, and you've lost trust and you've lost traction. So continue to show up, because you're going to want back. You're going to see your friends and you're going to see your teammates, and they're doing things and they're on trips and they're having team calls and you're not. And you're like, dang, I want that again. And you're going to come back, because this is where you belong. But it's harder the second time, and even harder the third time. So consistency is key.
Awesome. Jackie, same question.
I'm gonna obviously piggyback off Kyla, because my non-negotiables change all the time. I always like to say that I don't work for Beachbody. Beachbody works for me. And there are literally just times in my life that I can't do everything that I want to do, or feel that I should, or that other people feel that my business should look like. So my non-negotiables really include checking in with my people, and doing personal development every day, and trying to show up for myself. Because when I'm not showing up for myself, I can't show up for anyone else, including my family or all of the other people who depend on me. And if I had to say the one thing I wish I knew then, is that the market is not as saturated as you think it is. You have literally picked yourself up and you've dove headfirst into this Beachbody pool, like I'm literally friends with most of you. 50% of you on this call I'm friends with in some capacity, whether on Instagram or Facebook. You surround yourself with your team. So everything you see is Beachbody, but that's not what everyone else sees. No one else freaks out if you like 4 people's pictures. Like I used to always think, oh, I can't like their picture and then send them a message. They're going to totally know what I'm going to do. No one else thinks like that but you, because that's what you live in. That's your environment. So understand that most people aren't like stage 3 alarm because you liked 3 of their photos in a row. They just think you liked it. Sometimes they might share your thing and think that you just really love them. So I would say that the market is not as saturated as you think it is. You've just saturated yourself into Beachbody. That's all.
That's perfect. Mine quickly, my non-negotiable, honestly, at this stage of my crazy life, for those of you that don't know, I have twin 4-month-olds at home and a 3-year-old, and my husband travels for work. So thank God my sister-in-law is living with us right now. My non-negotiable is to have conversations on social media every day. Not even necessarily invites, but I'm trying to connect with people every day because I'm trying to work into that cold market. And I want to have a social media. So it's not necessarily the following, it's the relationships that I can build through the people that have chosen to follow me. And that's what I'm trying to focus on every day. And that's what I'm finding right now is a sweet spot, because I used to, and this kind of ties in the second question, I used to start conversations and think about how I could flip them to an invite, or how I could turn it into Beachbody, or like how can I somehow slide this in there? But I don't do that anymore. Now I just have conversations. They're done when they're done. We continue to develop that relationship back and forth, and then the invite comes naturally. And I don't have to like try to sneak it into a conversation. And then the only other thing that I would tell myself, because I am the classic, what's the word? I just take in all the information, and I like to know all of the things. I like to watch all of the trainings. I went to graduate school. I like to feel like I'm an expert at things. Act before you know. Do before it's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect, and you're never going to know all the things. And the best way to learn is by doing. And like Megan said, half the time you'll fail, but you'll learn from that too. So that's what I would tell myself. And I probably would have had a little bit of a smoother go at things. So that is it, I think. I think that's all of our questions. Did I miss anything, ladies? No? Okay, we don't want to keep you on too late. So thank you guys. If you found it valuable, hopefully you found it valuable, then we will do more of these for you. But my challenge to you tonight, because we talked about a lot of things, and like I said, what I would tell myself back in the day is to do. So I would choose one thing that struck a chord with you from this call, just one thing, and act on that within the next 24 hours, whatever that one thing was. And then, snowball from there, and all the things that we talked about. You can re-listen to this after Megan posts it, but choose one thing and act on it. Sound good? Okay, then I guess good night. Bye, guys.